Happy New Year! Happy first Mantra Monday of 2021. So happy that you're here. I'm sure you guys are thinking that I'm going to talk about goals because I'm a life coach and that's what I'm all about. But I have something far more important to share with you today, and something that I've talked about before, but I've seen myself struggle with it. I've heard other people be talking about it, so I just thought that this would be a much better mantra for the new year because you guys are hearing about goals everywhere. So my mantra for this week is, don't be afraid of the silence. So this is something that I've talked about before in like very, more dark ways, but this is something that still shows up for me all the time. So previously, when I really struggled with anxiety, not saying I don't still struggle with anxiety, but when it was at my darkest point, I would use a lot of different things to numb my thoughts and avoid being with myself because I didn't want to just be with my thoughts and nothing else. I wanted things to distract me, anything to avoid the silence. So this would be like little things like, wanting the TV on all the time, or as soon as I got in the car, I'd turn on a podcast or the radio. And some other like numbing things that I did, as I've talked about before, are like drinking a couple glasses of wine every night to make sure that I fall asleep and I don't have to listen to those thoughts, taking sleeping pills and becoming pretty reliant on them so that, I could stay my high productive self and not have to listen to those thoughts and see those scary things inside myself. And this is something that, it feels like I've got things under control now. I can listen to my thoughts and navigate through them. I know that everything I tell myself isn't true. But this is something that kind of started happening over Christmas, over New Year's, where I started watching more TV. I started listening to more podcasts. I was just like, do in like a relaxing way. And it kind of got to the point where I don't normally watch a lot of TV, but here I was like addicted to these different series, and like I had to get through them, and like I just caught myself asking, like, what is going on? Why all of a sudden am I loving TV so much when I haven't before, and it's not really been something that, it really like brings me joy or anything like that. And I had to get pretty real with myself because I've had some like hard moments throughout the holidays too. And I just realized that like I just haven't been with myself a lot, just me. And when I am with myself, I'm like pretty resistant to it. So like things like meditation, like I don't really want to go there. And so I'm just like becoming aware of, like I am using TV because I don't want to just like sit with my thoughts. And we all do this in like a variety of different ways. Sometimes I see myself using personal development as like something to avoid being with myself. Like, as soon as I go on a walk, I gotta like turn on a podcast, and like I always gotta be reading the new book and blah, 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 blah. And so while those things like might be healthy and good for me, I have to ask myself like, why am I doing this, to see if I'm using it in a healthy way. So if you see yourself in this story, maybe you can ask, what are some of the things that I do to avoid spending time with myself? Do I feel safe with myself? And if you saw in my story, I posted, like, I am giving up TV for the week. And it's not because I think, like, TV is bad and evil and we should be doing more productive things or whatever. I just know that I'm using it in a negative way and to not just, like, spend time with myself. So I'm like, okay, I just gotta reset. I gotta build a more healthy relationship with it. And I know that once I spend a week away from it, then I won't crave it so much. We know that like TV, social media, things like that do things to like trick our mind into thinking we need it or we have to keep going, things like that. So I'm just like need a reset. And I know if when I do follow through with giving it up for a week, then I won't feel like I need it as often. I feel like I need to say this. I don't know that I do. I think you guys know this, but like all of our answers, everything in our life, like all of that lies in the silence, right? All of that lies within us, and we just have to like pause and be in order to access that. And so if we're always running around and being overproductive, that's another thing that I would totally rely on, of go. then we are never with ourselves and we're relying on the outside world to find our answers when really we know that we are the ones with them, and we just have to sit and get through that uncomfort to find those answers. At first, you might have those thoughts that are bad or negative or anxious or whatever it is, and you gotta push through those things, right? You gotta talk with yourself. Are these thoughts real? Don't believe everything you think. Like, what is real in this, to be able to get to that deeper level of knowing and understanding yourself. Another point that I feel like I should share is that you guys know that I struggle with anxiety. And so that's usually when I'm pushing away from spending time with myself, because I don't want to hear all the things that I'm doing wrong or I should be doing better or overanalyzing, blah, blah, blah. But I know that my anxiety, the emotion of anxiety, is trying to help me prepare for things, trying to plan for things. And if I keep pushing that aside and watch TV or, numb out on something, then I'm not ever addressing that, and it just gets louder and louder and louder. And so that's why it's so important for me to be like, okay, stop, because I don't want it to build up. I don't want it to get to a place where it's crippling me. I need to address it and be like, hey, anxiety, I'm on top of things. I know what I'm doing. I'll be there for you. I have this thing organized. I have it planned. It's going to be fine. Things like that. So whatever it is that you struggle with or those thoughts that you have, they'll just keep building up until you listen. So that's why it's important for us to just sometimes just be with ourselves, listen to those emotions, not be afraid of them, and really just be. Nothing to do, nowhere to be, just be with yourself. That's where your answers are. That's where all the good stuff lives. And you don't need all of this stuff around you. We don't need the TV. We don't need the pills. We don't need all of that to numb ourselves. We are brave enough and we are strong enough to just sit with ourselves. And once you start doing that and you start building that relationship with yourself, your time with yourself will be the most sacred time of your day. So some deep thoughts for your first Monday of 2021, but something super important. And I hope that you just start being aware and maybe start spending a little bit of time with yourself. So don't be afraid of the silence. You guys got this. Have an awesome week.